Hi, Mark here, trust you're well. In today's Lightroom quick tip, we're going to be looking at organising your collections. I've been a Lightroom trainer now for over a decade and using Lightroom Classic since it was released. And I've picked up lots of little tips and tricks over the years that has helped me speed up my workflow to return to the field of photography sooner. Now, before we jump across to Lightroom Classic, if I may just take a moment of your time to tell you about my live events. Most Monday evenings I host a live Lightroom support community where over a semester we look at a theme. So autumn 2024, we're currently looking at developing. That's editing your images in Classic, Lightroom, on a web browser, in Photoshop, and we're looking at all the interfaces for each action. So whatever environment you're in, you know the tools that you can use. The second part of the 2-hour session together is open to your questions. We've got a problem with this. How can I do that? Is there a better way of doing this? And that's where, as a community, we work together to solve these questions because we all learn from each other. On a Wednesday, I host a live Lightroom short, about 30 minutes, 7 p.m. UK time again, where we look at a particular action and we drill down to that. So that could be we've just done syncing, the questions that you have syncing images from Classic to Lightroom to your devices to a web browser, and how working in the field you can back up your images. So for example, you might be on a road trip, or you might be doing a project and you want to make sure you've backed up your images while you're on that trip, and that's where the cloud comes involved. So if you'd like to know more about my live events, just visit lightroom.support, sign up to my newsletter, and you'll get lots of information about all the things, tips, tricks and events that I host. So without any further ado, let's jump across to Lightroom Classic. Here I am in Lightroom Classic. Now, why should we use collections rather than folders? It's a question I get asked all the time. Firstly, folders are the location on your hard drive. It's a direct link to where the image is stored. You can only have that image once, but you might want to use it in multiple projects or multiple sizes or multiple versions. So you might want a black and white, a sepia version, a saturated color, different crops, or in a folder structure you can only do that once. In a collection structure, you can share and have multiple versions of the same image in multiple projects or collections. And I did say share, that's share amongst your devices, but also with family and friends using the Adobe Cloud system. The biggest reason I feel, and it's a point of view, why we should use collections is that the folder panel in the library module only appears in the library module. So let me show you. There's my folder structure. I store my images in date because an image to me is a moment in time. You can't replicate that moment in time. You can't replicate that image down to the split second and the shutter actuation number. So I store my images in date and time, chronological order, and then I reference them by keywords, descriptions, geotagging, and put those in collections. But the folder structure only appears in this panel. So if I go to the developer module, the folder panel disappears. And yes, we do have the film strip at the bottom, but that's playing with your real estate and perhaps inconvenience you, giving you more actions to do, where the collection panel is still appeared on the left hand side of the screen. So how can I organize my collection panel? Firstly, if we click on the plus, we've got sorting, so we can sort by name or sort by kind. If we do sort by kind, that will group the types of collections together. And that's what I do, because I use collection sets. They're like folders, so I can put multiple collections within them. and then I put all my smart collections together, and I put all my normal collections together. So that's why I sort by kind, but you can change it by name if you wish. But the workflow that I've created, I managed to sort by kind, then by name. Now, how does that work? Well, the naming order is numerical alpha. So firstly, it will go by kind. So smart collection will always appear at the top inside a collection set, and then all the collections will appear together. Now, as you can see, I've, with this collection, put a number 1 at the beginning, and then I put a number 2 for the next one. But you can see this collection, the first one, the word starts with a W, which is later in the alphabet. So it sorts by number, then by name. So you could have several collections, 1, and then it would go A, B, C, D, E, etc. And then you would have 2. So you could group them together and sort them in a particular order that you wanted to sort them. So that's a great way of sorting those collections. Now, finding collections. Now, this is my training catalogue. It's a lot of my old images and some stock images that I have a license to use. But how can we find your collection when you've got, like in my work catalogue, over 400-500 collections? Well, that's easy. Underneath the word collection, you probably won't see it normally because it's the same colour as the background. Just below it, you can just see, if I hover over the 2 collection and come there, see it changes colour. But if I go click underneath the word collection, it gives me a search field. And now I can just type in a word and it will give me the collections. And that's the same in the folder structure as well. You can search for a particular image if you've renamed an image, for example. So that's a great way of finding collections. Now, lastly, we have this collection as default from Lightroom. And this is an album that I have made in Lightroom, and it has synced because albums are only available in the cloud in Lightroom. This is synced from Lightroom, so let me show you. I'm going to go to Lightroom. This is the desktop version, and I'm going to create an album, and I'm just going to call it Mark II. And it's created the album. I'm just going to put the image in there. There it is, Mark II. So I've got this album called Mark and this album called Mark II with the same image in, because I don't put a lot of images in the cloud. Now you might ask me, why have I got a folder? These are folders, the equivalent to a collection set. Well, I'm quite organised. I like to be organised, methodical. If it looks right, it normally is right. So I've got a folder called LR, and those are the libraries, or the albums I've created in Lightroom, and they sync back. But if I create a collection in Classic, I will move that collection and put it into LRC, and that immediately tells me, without looking into the search field in the filters, that it's a smart preview. It's not the raw file. Where this image was taken and uploaded into Lightroom on location with a device, and it's the file, so it counts towards my storage. So albums only work in the cloud, they don't work local. And if we go back to Classic, there is my Mark II. And if I want to go to the file, where is the file? Just right click, show in library. A few seconds later, it will jump to where the file is in my folder structure. I hope today has been of help for you. There's lots of resources on my Lightroom channel. Come and sign up for my newsletter, lightroom.support, Please give me a subscribe, a like, a thumbs up, hit the bell notification, and I look forward to welcoming you to one of my live events very soon. Take care, stay safe, bye for now.